we are live here on our big broadcast. We are coast to coast and border to border on iHeartRadio, also AMFM247.com. Tune in, iTunes, and of course TalkShoe, also Spotify as well. And we have got a great guest joining us today here on Skype video. And Ross the Boss joins us here on our broadcast. And this is awesome. You know how to do Skype, and that's fantastic. So talk to us a little bit about your music and how you got started doing the old music thing.
Oh, man, that's a long story, my friend. I mean, I don't look it, but I put out my first record in 1975.
Holy smokes.
With the Dictators. It was called The Dictators Go Girl Crazy on CBS. And actually, we were 1 year before the Ramones started.
Look at that.
In New York City. Yeah. And we were like a little before everyone, our time. We were one of those major CBGB's bands. We played there 35 times.
Wow.
And we actually closed the
That's awesome.
Yeah, we actually closed the place the last weekend, which was very sad. And the band, the Dictators, we're still together. I'm recording as well as doing other things, of course, that I do.
Yes.
That first record, The Dictators Go Girl Crazy, is hanging in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the punk rock wing, very proudly. And it was just labeled by Uncut Magazine, England, as the #1 U.S. punk rock record of all time.
Man, this is actually really amazing today to get to chat with you, my friend. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here in our broadcast, and coast to coast, border to border on TuneIn, iTunes, of course, Radio Loyalty, and Ross the Boss with us today, the co-creator of the Dictators and Man of War, currently lead guitar for Death Dealer and the Dictators NYC, and of course the mighty Ross the Boss band. So you have accomplished a heck of a lot in your time. What's been the funnest thing doing music wise?
I would have to say the ability for me to play into different genres of music, and with ease. I mean, I'm just not playing one thing my whole life.
Yeah.
It's an honor to do so. The Dictators, more punk. Man of War, of course, we know what that is, and
yes,
power metal, and then I've done blues rock projects. I had a band called Heyday, and power punk, Spinatras, and all sorts of stuff. So it's been fun. It's fun for me to play different things all the time, And I'm going to do a blues album eventually.
Wow, that's fantastic. So. You've done all this stuff. You like you said, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff. You played legendary venues. I guess let's start with that. You were telling me that you were. It was kind of sad, but you were the last band to basically close the place down. Talk to us a little bit about that whole experience and everything, and that night.
Well, yeah. It's just CBGBs was such a part of our lives.
Yes.
A lot of bands lost. And, after the original 70, 70, 78, all those bands playing, Talking Heads, Ramones, Television, Dictators, after that, it kind of like got hard for them. I mean, they had the hardcore scene, but, they just couldn't keep up with the rent. He just couldn't keep up with the rent.
Yeah.
Finally, all that whole area was gentrified by NYU, and so it was he just couldn't do it anymore, and we figured they were going to close, and it was just we couldn't contemplate that, we couldn't fathom it, and they said it's the last weekend you guys want to play, and he said, yo, okay, we're playing. So we played that Friday and Saturday night, and of course Patti Smith played Sunday, but she's not, we're not going to consider her punk rock. I would say she's great, but she's more like a hippie avant-garde person. And so like that very last night that we're playing, we're like, it's the last part of the set, and I'm standing on stage, and I'm saying, well, Ross, this is it. This is it, man. After it's not, you're not coming back here.
Yeah, we're done after this evening.
Yeah, it kind of started sinking in with me, and so the last song we played, we brought up Tommy Ramone to sing.
Wow.
Blitzkrieg. The only and he was the only one that was living. Still, he's passed now.
Yeah.
So it was the last song that we played was Blitzkrieg Bop with a Ramone, and it was fitting, and I was like, I was really, it got to me. It really got to me, that last song. It really did. I said,
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty, strong and stoic and all that, but this was a major part of our lives, this place, and it was done. And after that, it was it.
Now, talking about when you guys first started, you said that you guys basically you got going before the Ramones got going. What did you think of?
I'm losing you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Better.
You mentioned the Ramones being around before the Ramones. What did you think of the fact that they just took off as well as they did, and how everybody just loved the crap out of them, and then even to the point where, like you did just a moment ago, talk to us about that performance and bringing him up on stage?
Well, we all love the Ramones. They're our fellow New Yorkers. The Dictators are from the Bronx.
Yep.
And they're from Queens, and they were actually original band. It's an original band. All the other bands that went to CBGBs were from other parts of the country. So we were those were the first. Those two, us and the Ramones, were really true New York bands, and we loved them. We were, and we wouldn't. I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised of their rise, because they were so easy to understand, and their image was so easy to understand.
Yes.
Where the Dictators weren't. We posed different images and changes in our records and the production and the attack that we, and so it was a lot easier for people to relate to the Ramones than to the Dictators.
Yes. Ross the Boss with us today. Check out the website, ross-the-boss.com.
Boss.
Check it out today. He is absolutely amazing. Now, you have postponed this European tour that you were going to be doing. When does that get rescheduled, and how exactly does that work? Is that just all once everything opens up, the booking agent calls you and says, okay, we rescheduled it?
Well, they're putting holds on. My agent is putting holds on dates in November, December. Just to be safe, because no one knows when this is all going to start opening up again.
Yeah.
They're not going to hold it. They're not going to hold it forever, especially in Germany. Germany hasn't been very hit very badly with this whole thing.
Yeah.
Thank God. And so the whole month, I was supposed to be there now.
Yeah.
It was on. We had 25 shows with the Burning Witches, and from Switzerland. They're great, and Somerville from England, and I was supposed to be in my tour bus right now, going to the next show.
Yeah, we would have been doing this on a tour bus somewhere.
Yeah, would have been from Germany or somewhere, and hopefully everything gets back. I'm not so sure about the summer season. I'm just not. I'm not sure. Because I had bookings in Sweden Rock and all sorts of stuff. It's for June. I don't think the summer season is going to go off so swiftly. Maybe at the end of the summer, but no one knows. The thing about now is no one knows anything.
Yes.
And that's we're just sitting here. We're just sitting here.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. we're just two knuckleheads having a radio program here. That's pretty much what we're doing. That's what we're down to, Ross.
We're marinating in our own juices. You know what I'm
yes.
saying? It's like,
We've got we've got Ross the Boss with us today, co-creator of The Dictators and Man of War. Talk to me about Man of War, how that all got going, and some of the highlights and everything with that.
Okay, so after The Dictators took a hiatus after 3 albums, I joined this French band called Shakin' Street.
Yes.
And my manager at the time, Sandy Perlman, rest in peace, managed BOC, The Dictators, and he was managing Black Sabbath for a bit. And,
that's awesome.
He discovered Shakin' Street in Paris, and so he decided to manage Shakin' Street, and they needed a guitar player because the guy just sold his guitar for heroin. And so,
well, that's a rock and roll kind of thing to do there, baby.
Beautiful. And so Fabienne, the female singer, I need a guitar player, and Sandy goes, well, I got a guy sitting there ready to go. So he calls me up from Paris. It was like 79 or something like that, and they want you in Paris tomorrow.
Yes.
So I went to JFK. Was on the plane. I was in Paris the next day.
Yep.
At the rehearsal room, I auditioned for about 5 seconds, and I was in the band. And then we found ourselves. We did the Black and Blue tour in America, and that's Black Sabbath, Blue Oyster Cult. And then we were in England, opening up for Black Sabbath with Ronnie Dio, the Ronnie Dio era, Heaven and Hell.
Yes.
And remember? And
yes.
His first record, and. So we're doing a sound check there in Nottingham or Newcastle City Hall or something. And Ronnie comes up to me and after sound check and he goes, Russ, I really love the way you play guitar, blah, 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 blah. I know so much about the New York rock scene and CBGBs and but I have I have a friend, I have this guy on my crew here, his name's Joey, and he plays bass. And I think you two would hit it off. And so I go, you should meet him. I go, okay, yes, sir, Ronnie.
Yes.
Whatever you say, if you say so, I'm doing it. So,
yes, I'm down. Let's go.
So as soon as I put my guitar down, and I went and sought Joey out, and we became fast friends, and we started jamming in Black Sabbath's dressing room when they were on stage, and we kind of made plans, and that I would leave Shakin' Street, and I named my replacement because we were on very good terms, and we went off the road and we started writing songs. And I had a friend that was head of A&R at EMI Records in New York City. His name was Robert Curry, and he signed Man of War. And that's how we got signed. And that's how we started.
Fantastic.
The first record was Battle.
So when you guys got that record out there, I know that a lot of folks were all over it. They loved the heck out of it. Why were people so attracted to the band Man of War?
Well, because it was 1982. Metal was just exploding in the country, in the world again, and it was different. The imagery of the band was different. The way the band looked was different. Our approach to music was different. Not so different. I mean,
Well, yeah.
Epic tracks. We had a track with Orson Welles.
That is fantastic.
We had a song called Battle Hymns. It's probably one of the greatest rock anthems, metal anthems ever written.
Yep.
Plus all the rock and roll stuff from me. So we had a beautiful, beautiful mix of music, the band's imagery, and it was attractive because, at the time, all we had was Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, and the leather and spikes, the leather and studs. That look, which was fantastic. I love that look.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to be that, because we wouldn't stand out. We wanted an image that we would stand out and be, be noticed. And I think we did that. And as many people loved us, the same amount of people hated us.
Well, and see, that's what I was getting ready to. That's what I was getting ready to ask you. How did you guys deal with that? That they either loved you or they hated you. And if they hated you, they really fucking hated you.
Yeah. And the band still does get. I haven't been in Manowar since 1988. And
yeah.
Still, it's like, I mean, listen, whatever it was a reaction.
Yes.
It wasn't just.
Yes.
We didn't want just. Oh, they're okay. That's right. And so you either gonna love it or you're going to hate our fucking guts.
Yes.
And,
Yes, and that's.
I mean, I would rather have that. At least it's a reaction.
At least it's a you're kind of like me, At least I'm getting a reaction out of them. That's fantastic.
It's true.
Ross the Boss joins us today. That's awesome. Go ahead and talk to us about this. The fact that Man of War has stood the test of time. And like you said, still to this day, you haven't been in the band in ages, but they still got people who are like, oh, I love this music, or they're like, these guys suck.
The band continues to play. I mean, and I'm not going to pass judgment on them. God, good for them. They can, and I did 6 records in 6 years. I consider the best records of their career, of the band's career. I mean, in a lot of people's opinion.
Well, yeah.
Mine, it's a matter of opinion. Everything is a matter of opinion. But the 6 records in 6 years was a record.
Oh, yeah.
To this day, I don't think any band could surpass that. But people still listen to the music, and because I know I get the checks, and
those residuals, baby, those residuals.
It's steady from since the day, man, since the day we started, and it's an honor. It truly is an honor to have people say, I've been listening to you since 1982, and then I have people saying I've been listening to you since 1975. The same thing with the Dictators. So it's a blessing. It truly is to be pleasing people, and especially in these times,
Yes.
Where we have our music. At least we have our music, and we have, our memories, and we have the fact that when we get started again, it's going to be great. And so I just want to tell everybody to hold on, have patience, do what they're telling you to do. Don't cough in people's faces. And
which is odd, because you would think. Isn't that just manners? Wash your hands, don't cough in people's faces, all that shit.
Don't put your hands where they don't belong. And pull them out. Wash them. Keep clean. I mean, it's not rocket science. I think that we just have to be just respectful and not reckless.
Yeah.
So
it's just amazing. We've got a great guest with us today. Ross the Boss joins us here on our broadcast. We had earlier today, we chatted with Vicky Starr about 80s hair metal music and about why that has stood the test of time. Slaughter and all those guys.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
But that's right. So why do you think that that the music from the 80s that you helped create and was around for has stood the test of time?
Well, because I think when it came out and our generation, was making it, and it touched the nerve. The songs were,
yes.
Even bands that I couldn't stand, looking back, the songs were a lot better. The songs were a lot better than what happened in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Because to me, the 90s was the worst decade of rock ever. I mean,
that is awesome. That is fantastic.
I chose to have my son. My son was born in '91, so that
worst.
took my,
the worst.
Attention away.
Why do you think the 90s, especially for you guys in your genre of music, why did it suck so bad?
It just didn't. The bands. I mean, there were a few bands that had some good songs, like Soundgarden.
Yeah.
And of course, if you say anything bad against Nirvana, it's like, no, you can't say anything.
Oh yeah, yeah. You'll get chased to the tower like Frankenstein.
I mean, I like a lot of those songs, but for the most part, a lot of that music really wasn't so great.
Yeah.
And it just didn't carry through. I mean, Pantera. There was a couple of bands that were good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, great. I mean, great. But for the most part, it just nothing caught my attention. It just, I don't know. It just didn't have the presence as the '60s, '70s, and '80s did.
What do you think about the fact of a lot of these radio stations nowadays? They don't. They just completely forget about the '60s, '70s, and '80s, and they're playing the '90s, and they term that classic rock. As I turned on well, in fact, I worked for a radio station, but at one time that. They were Salina's classic rock station, and we played Soundgarden, Nirvana,
Well,
the Moody Blues. We didn't play anything else.
well, thankfully in New York here we have 104.3.
Yes.
And they play.
Yes.
They play 60s, 80s. We have 101.1 that plays oldies, and there's the regular radio station. So it's not bad that Black Sabbath, the guy's hand, it jumps and he plays Black Sabbath, and so I've been hearing. I hear Judas Priest, Iron Maiden and stuff like that on 104.3, which is amazing. But a lot of stations don't play that,
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, if that is discerning a music lover, you can have Sirius. You have all the 80s you want, all the 60s, all music that you want, 24/7. So,
well, what do you think of modern music? That's considered rock. That's considered metal. I'm not gonna name any names because we could slam people all day, brother.
Slamming musicians is not my thing.
Yeah.
I have dying respect for anyone in this industry, because it's a really hard.
Oh,
really hard to make a living.
Yeah.
And especially when tours are canceled.
Well, that too.
But I'm not a big fan of what I hear. It sounds like they're using the same drum sounds and guitar sounds and bass sounds
Yes.
for every single record.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, can they change the computer pattern on these drums a little bit?
That's awesome. Ross the Boss with us today. He, of course, the co-creator of The Dictators and Man of War. Go ahead, brother.
I'm very, everyone knows me, knows how sarcastically orientated I am. So.
Hey, I just like the fact that you're honest. That's hard to find anymore, brother. There's not a lot of honesty. So with the Dictators and Man of War, when you left Man of War, or that project, that ended for you, what did you do? Take us through the timeline here.
Oh, well, 1988. So I was like, okay, I did all the heavy lifting in that band, and all of a sudden they put out Kings of Metal, which was a very successful record. So no tour, no live record, I don't know. So I reunited with the Dictators. We had a thing called Manitoba's Wild Kingdom, and we put out a record, and we had a song, The Party Starts Now, and it did very well. And I did that, and I had another band called The Pack, and I had a band called Heyday. We made a record that was blues rock. And then my son Jesse came along in 91. And then, let's see, I had a band called the Spinatras, and we had signed to CMC and made a nice record there. It was kind of Ramones meet Cheap Trick. And then the Dictators started touring again in Europe in 96. And it just kept going and going. I mean, it wasn't until 2005, around there, I started hitting the metal scene again. I did the Keep It True Festival. I put a band together. I got signed to AFM, Germany. Put out a record in 2028.
Wow.
New Metal Leader. And in 2010, I put out Hailstorm. And I took a break after that. They were a German band, and I said I need an American band. Those are great guys, but time for a change. And so in the meantime, I joined a band called Death Dealer. The guitar player Stu Marshall from Australia. Sean Peck from the KJAG from California.
Wow. And
then I did 2 records with Death Dealer, and then I started doing the Ross the Boss thing with another Keep It True festival that really lit the place apart. And then I was offered like 28 European shows, and then the current band that I had on that festival didn't want to tour, So I got the current guys that I have now. Mike LePont. Yeah, right. The 22-year-old musicians didn't want to tour. Metal musicians don't want to tour Europe. Well, okay, well, I do.
I have a photographer in New Jersey who loves metal music and industrial music and all the stuff, and any chance he can get, he goes to Germany.
Yeah.
So I'm amazed by this.
You know, so I had 28 shows to do. So I got Mike LePont from Symphony X.
Yep.
Possibly one of the greatest bass players in the world. Well, he is. I know he is. I got the old man who wore drummer Rhino, he on drums, and I found this young man. His name Mark Lopes, and he's amazing front man, great energy, different voice. You know, not the classic power metal voice, but he's unbelievable. He could do that. So we recorded a record in 2016 called By Blood Sworn on AFM, still on AFM. That was my third, and we recorded a new one. Just came out. Born of Fire was released March 6th on AFM, and it's doing quite well. And we were supposed to be on tour right now, and so that's what I get.
Well, Ross, it's definitely been a nobody does that anymore. You know this. They never do that. They never do that anymore. Nobody ever does that anymore. You know, you're old school, baby. You're old school.
Old school from the Bronx, man. Let me tell you something. Everyone's upset. Everyone's upset. Everyone's bored. Everyone's, climbing, going nuts inside their houses. All I can tell you, it's going to stop. It's going to end. It's going to get better, and we'll all be together soon.
There you go.
You guys. And,
there you go.
Come see the Lost the Boss band. It's one of the best ass-kicking live shows you'll ever see. And you can hear us through the new songs and get the record on AFM. It's called Born of Fire. It's got amazing artwork, amazing production, and it's got a great band, 12 great songs.
Good
and that's
stuff.
How you could really help us. You could really help all the bands. I'm not just saying help us.
Well, yeah, and that is one thing that I have, through this whole COVID-19 thing, is that when I talk to musicians, I get Facebook comments or Periscope, Twitter, all these different things. They're like, I want to help the bands. Buy their shit. Go buy the CDs. Download the music. Do something. We interview adult film stars on this broadcast a lot, and it's like, go subscribe to their OnlyFans. Go buy their material. You want to help these people? That's how you do it.
Yeah.
So, that's
the way that it's the only way we're making money is if
too,
by touring and selling merchandise. And if we can't do that, a lot of the bands. I mean, look at the cruise. Look at everything suffers. The airlines, the cruise,
yes,
the restaurant, the catering. The sound companies. It's just a chain of it's a chain of shit.
Yes.
And,
yes.
But
and I think people are with this whole thing. I think they're starting to realize that if they spend money or if they make money and spend money, it helps everybody. Because if I buy your material, you get to book a tour. You get to hire a tour. You get to hire a booking agent to book a tour. Then you get to go out on tour. Well, then, in order for me to come see you, I've got to spend money on an airline ticket and buy a hotel and get a rental car. Sure. Everybody makes money.
Drink beer. Look at all the beer sales.
That too.
Whatever. I mean, the whole deal. I mean, all the people that manufacture the shirts. I mean,
yeah,
it's a whole thing, and I just wish it'll come back, and when it comes back, it's going to be great. And
what I was thinking is funny, and I'm glad we've got you on today, so I can ask you this question. But they always have these memes and things on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all these places about occupy a local venue, go see a local band, and nobody goes and sees local music. Nobody goes and pays these horrendous prices for these tickets for these bands, and what do these bands think they're doing and all this. I don't think we're going to have that problem when this is all over with. I think people are going to be so starved that they're going to be like, oh, Ross the boss wants me to pay $128 for a VIP. Fuck it, I'm there.
I'm not even that expensive. And you get a lot of me.
Yes.
Ask anyone.
Well, I was just thinking I should have probably used like Metallica or somebody like that, because they do those kind of things. Here's like and I am in no way trashing Guns N' Roses when I bring this up, but that tour that they recently did, that was great. I like the fact that Axl's getting along with everybody. We're going on tour. I think that's great. But the venues and the people and the production people that put this together, or you get the VIP package. And I'm like, oh, a VIP package. Does that mean what? I'm going to get to meet Axl Rose? He's going to put up with the Marks? He's going to put up with people like that? No. You get to get on stage and take a photo in front of the banner. And I'm like, what? I'm not doing that.
You could Photoshop that.
That too. Well, it has been an amazing interview. I appreciate it. Thanks for doing this, brother, and I look forward to chatting with you more down the line here.
Anytime, my friend, anytime.
All right, brother. Well, have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. There he goes, Ross the boss. And, Peter Man has gotten up on top of the D.